What's up? It's the Brunch Breakdown. Didi out here in Los Angeles. Chris and Dan are in Pittsburgh. Today on the Brunch Breakdown, it's sports brunch, baby. The last sports brunch of the
There you go.
year.
Let's
Nice,
go.
nice, nice.
Yeah.
He's
We're
ready.
festive. Dan's got the red on. It's got me super excited. Or he's about to go golfing or something. Oh, Tigers.
Dude, hell no. Are you kidding me? 30 degrees outside right now.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
winter.
you live
Oh,
there. I
yeah,
forgot. Oh
yeah.
man. Well, today on the show, we're going to be talking college football playoff, the MLB's new golden bat, which I can't wait to talk about. Uh, two of our favorite coaches, two of the happiest, loving coaches are back in football. We can't wait to talk about it. And there's a team in West Virginia that just decided to quit. So we're going to talk about that and more. It's the Brunch Breakdown. It's Sports Brunch. Let's go. Dan, where's that? Where can everybody find us?
Everywhere, peoples. Everywhere. Everywhere. Podcasts are available. You can find the Brunch Breakdown. Each and every Wednesday, the new episodes come straight to you. Hit follow, hit subscribe. Again, a lot of you have done that this year. We appreciate it, and it's helpful for you, right? You don't have to be like, where's this tweet? Where's this Facebook post? Nah, fam. It's coming right to you. Happily sealed and delivered straight to you each and every Wednesday. We do also have the video episodes. Those you have to do a little bit more finding, unless you're on Spotify, because they're coming right to you on Spotify. Same place the audio is. You can find the video on Spotify. The video is also available on YouTube and Facebook, premiering at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, on demand anytime you would like to watch after that. We are everywhere except for Blue Sky on social media, I think. Still working on that
I
at Brunch
have,
Breakdown.
we have I
You
have made the
secured.
account.
You secured the handle. That's
We
really all that's
secured the
important.
account.
We're not
Yes.
guaranteeing content there yet, but we have the handle. But
Yeah.
everywhere else social media is, we're there at Brunch Breakdown. And then, of course, we have what we're listening to each and every week. We put that into a playlist for you. We keep last week's on there, and that is updated usually on Fridays, unless we don't have the songs together. But you can find that exclusively on Spotify. Just tell Siri, Alexa, Rufus, Girl Next Door, hey, play the sounds of brunch. Never letting go. Spoiler
Oh
alert,
God.
my bruncher of the year is Rufus. So when we do brunches in a couple of weeks, Rufus has already won the award. So congratulations.
If,
Oh
if
my
if you
God.
are a new listener, Didi thinks you can ask Rufus to do stuff in your house. That's the long and short of that inside joke.
Yeah,
Still trying to figure out whether or not that's real.
he's
If you're new
speechless.
to this podcast, this is the time where we get random topics off our chests. And if
He's
I
just
go first,
changed.
I'm going to yell at both of them. So, Chris, get it off your chest.
You know what? I'm actually I'm gonna do my best here, boys, to not create too many tangents because I'm very excited about all the topics that Didi just mentioned
Same.
for today's menu. So let's get right to it. It's sports brunch, but I have a non-sports brunch topic that I wanted to discuss just because we're getting close to Christmas. Okay. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
this is my opportunity to get out in front of holiday gift buying if you are making last second decisions specifically for me. So if you're listening and you were thinking about buying me a present, here are a few things I don't want you to buy me. Okay.
Hey.
One of the things that's been bothering me the most throughout this entire year, if you want to talk about getting it off your chest, I've been thinking about this literally all 12 months of the year. Stop buying me stuff that's not dishwasher safe. Okay.
Mm.
I don't understand why we even manufacture things that are not dishwasher safe. What is the point of buying me something that causes more work in my life? I don't want that. Okay. So if you are buying something for me, cookware, which is a popular thing, we'll get to that in a second. It better be dishwasher safe. If it's not, I'm throwing it in the dishwasher. I am so sick of washing pots and pans. I don't get why you're not allowed to put them in there. I don't want it anymore. Okay. Number two, don't buy me pots and pans anyway. I don't want them. I don't need them. I got a lot of them. I don't need any more. Okay. Number three, stop buying dad's socks. We have socks. We don't need any more. Okay. And every year I get socks. I don't, the sock drawer is here in Studio B. Okay. I can't fit any more fucking socks in that thing. So stop buying me socks. I don't want any more. Number 4, seasonal pajamas. I have
Ooh.
17 sets of Christmas pajamas. I don't need an 18th. Please do not buy me anymore. Okay? I'm fine. And then this is the last one is just something that we've been over on this podcast before. If you buy me a coffee mug, a water bottle, a Stanley, a Yeti, I'm thrown in the trash. I don't want any more. I can't fit any more in my life. Please do not buy me any. These are all very generic things that I thought about where it's like, oh, you have that like casual get together with friends or whatever. And like, oh, we do a gift giving thing. It's like everybody buys each other generic stuff. I just don't want that stuff anymore. So please don't buy it for me. I appreciate the thought, the care, but I don't want it. Thank you in advance. Merry Christmas.
Okay, next year I'm coming home for Christmas and we're gonna have a party. We're gonna do a white elephant, and we're all going to bring stuff that Chris doesn't want.
Exclusively from that list.
So like he won't know. He's gonna come with something. He's like, oh man, I bet people
Yeah.
like want this. Like, yeah, this is gonna be great. And we'll all have just socks,
Yeah.
Stanleys,
Yes.
Didi,
and a bunch
Socks
of
and
stuff we'll be
Stanleys.
passing around.
if the invite to that party says it's a pajama party, I'm RSVPing. No, I am not coming.
Yeah.
I am not
Be
coming
like-
to your holiday pajama party.
We like wine glasses. I'm just trying to think of things
Right.
that aren't dishwashers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. We do a white elephant at my family Christmas we just had over the weekend, and same old every year. It's fine. But one of my cousins recommended next year for the exchange where everybody takes white elephant, everybody takes a number, unwraps a gift, stealing and all that thing. You can only bring items that are from the as seen on TV.
Oh, that's cool.
I thought that was
fun.
super great. I thought that was great. I hope we
I'm
can
writing
enforce
that
that next
down.
year.
That's good.
Yeah,
Was it,
that's
was
really,
it like
really good.
all copper fit stuff? Is it-
Yeah.
I'll just buy everything that I see on
Yeah.
ACC Network, and then we'll do a white elephant.
Right. Yes, exactly. But the socks thing is interesting because I feel like that used to be one half of dad gifts. The other half was ties. People don't wear ties anymore. Thank goodness. But, you certainly don't need any more of those with how fashion has changed. But so it's all just default to socks then. I
I
see.
guess that's a good point.
Okay.
Ties did used to be part of that discussion.
Yeah.
Which means we're only like 10 years from ties making a comeback.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Just
But I said I'm not going to send us down these paths. So
See?
let's,
Right. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
Let's move
We don't
on.
want it like last week. We didn't even barely get to the menu. We want to
There's a
get
lot-
there today.
A lot of things about West Virginia. We got to talk about a lot of things in West Virginia today. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Dear, get it off your chest.
Yes. Well, I was going to go a different direction here, but last night I witnessed something that just offended me so badly. I need to talk about it here today in our year 2024. I went to a brewery and a man and his wife, very much Pittsburgh, Yinzers to the fullest. Okay. Sit down, walk into this brewery, sit at the bar, and she goes, "We'll have a Tito's and cranberry and a Coors Light." Ladies and gentlemen, this conversation 10 years ago would have been different. In 2024, if you don't understand what a brewery is and does and serves, you should be not served and thrown out immediately. I had to hold the shock off of my face and turn to my wife and just could not believe that we're still doing this. People are still doing this. And like before you ask, yes, these were local people. And we were in a small town. We weren't in Pittsburgh. We were outside of Pittsburgh. Like, you should understand what the brewery does. Brewery is in the name. And you go in there, and I was just like, the bartender, I felt so bad for her. She like had to explain where they are and what they do here. And Coors Light is certainly not one of them. That's like sitting down at an Applebee's and saying, "We'll have the bloomin' onion." We don't do that here. Or like worse, go into like a local up and coming restaurant. You want to support local, right? And be like, do you guys have like a 2 for $20 menu where we can like split the entree and get a dessert maybe or something like that? Like it shocked me that in this year we're still doing this. And if you can't understand what a brewery is and you don't understand it, you're a jackass. You know, if you drink beer and like ordering Coors Light, that's a whole nother tangent, right? That's the worst of the worst. But come on, we've got to do better. Especially if these aren't people unfamiliar with the area, right? Yinzers through and through had their Penguin shirts on, chatting it up with people down the bar that they know. A joke, my friends. I can't believe I have to still say this in 2024.
I love that you went with like what is it, like the similes there? Because as you were saying that, I was like, that's like in my head, that's like going out to sushi and asking for the chicken fingers. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
like what
Yes.
are we doing here?
Yes.
What are we doing here? And
Yes.
yeah.
If you don't
I'd
understand
like
the concept.
I'd like to have a major competitor's drink, please.
Yeah. Right.
How old were the people?
In their 50s. In their 50s. No excuse.
50's
No.
not what it used to be. 50,
It's not.
50
You're
nowadays, like when
You're
my
right.
parents were in their 50s, the internet was still not as
Yeah.
accessible. When you're
Yeah.
50, that means you've had a smartphone since 35. Okay. You know what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And there's
you're
2
right.
breweries in this town. It's not like this is the only one and they're going for
Yeah.
the first time. There's 2 of them. How do you not understand the concept?
You know, I forget that 50 is like Gen X, and I'm like, yeah, I don't like them
Yeah.
anyways, and
Yeah.
so screw
Rough.
them. Oh, I have a story, but I don't want to go for the tangent, just like you guys did. So I'm not gonna do it. We're not gonna do it. We're not gonna do it.
Okay.
All Anyways, all right. So I hate when something happens with an athlete and it just completely changes your whole opinion of them. This happened last night after the Heisman Trophy ceremony. Ashton Jeanty, is that how you say it? Or Genty? I forget.
Genty?
Yeah, Genty. That's how you say it. After he's all sad and he's like, I think I deserve to win the award. I think I did. Told us extremely lie. And he looked all sad. And also on Friday, he wore like Boise State like logoed stuff to the Heisman photo shoot. No one else did. And he wore that as like a badge of honor because he loves Boise State so much. And I'm just like, dude, why are you so annoying? Like, why? Like honestly, just be a running back. Just shut up. Like, you lost. You lost to Travis Hunter. He did things that no one's ever done. Like, honestly, he should have been the only person that went there. That's honestly the reason why. Like, I just don't like when people complain, and I don't like when people try to just try hard. Like, you wore Boise State stuff in the photo because you were trying too hard. Like, wear your best outfit. You're in New York City. You go to, like, you're in New York City. You're on this trip. You're having fun. They're celebrating you. Don't wear ugly Boise State colors. And also, just, you lost the Heisman. It's fine. Leave it alone. And I just got annoyed. So now I don't care about Ashton Jeanty anymore. I hope his team loses as soon as they play in the college football playoff, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. And I just want him to go away. And I'm so bummed because I enjoyed watching him all year long. But once he started talking this week, I was like, I'm good. I'm out. Just sad. Sad.
That vote was close.
It was.
It was very close. It was closer than I
Some people thought. Yeah.
Maybe he just knows. Maybe he just knows what he's doing, and wanted to make sure that he never has to pay for a drink again in his life, as long as he's in Boise.
Listen, maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. And speaking of the voting, who voted for Dylan Gabriel 24 times in first place? Like, who are the people who gave him
Yeah, that was
first place votes? I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Like, what are we doing here?
Kyle
I
McCord
heard it.
got votes. What are we? What?
Yeah. Yeah.
He finished 10th. He had a second place vote. What?
We need to audit this. Yeah. These voters. It's kind of ridiculous.
And when I saw that Cam Ward got votes it's the first place votes that bother me. Like, you want to
Yeah.
throw third place, fifth place votes for people that you just to throw it out there, knock yourself out. I don't care. But like, if you gave Cam Ward a vote for first place in the Heisman, are you able to send your Heisman ballot in like at the beginning of November?
No.
Like, I just want to know like when you're able to send it in, because it just doesn't make any sense. And like Cam Ward, I loved watching him all year, but there was a point where it was like, okay, you could win the Heisman too. All right, you're no longer in this conversation. Like, I just don't, I don't get it. Like, I don't know. I was very confused.
Should the Heisman only be decided by former Heisman winners?
No,
because it's not.
They're part of it, right? Or at least
they're part of it.
They're part of it.
There's mostly media.
Dude, but right. I don't actually like that, because I think like a lot of those dudes, if there's a guy from their school, they're just voting for that guy from their school. Like there were some guys in the top 10 where I was like, oh, like either a media member or former Heisman players from that school just voted for him because.
Yeah.
And there's like biased media people too. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
And it is interesting that Ashton Genty he had that kind of emotion, because like Travis Hunter isn't in the college football playoff. You are. You still have, the potential for some unfinished business. Like, take care of it there. Like, go and keep your head up knowing that you still got games to play, and he's playing in a worthless bowl game. So at least look at it from that aspect. But he must have really thought he was going to win.
Yeah. I was like,
he must have really thought he was going to win. I mean, at best you think, oh, this is going to be close. I'm probably not, but it'd be great if it's close, which it was. But interesting.
Yeah, but anyways, unfinished business. Hope the team loses. Bye, Boise State. You're dead to me. All right, so let's get into some brews. Chris, what are you sipping on?
This week, I had a Frivolous Pursuit. No, I'm not talking about going somewhere. That was the name of the beer that I drank. From my favorite brewery, boys, from Raised Grain Brewing Company out in Waukesha, Wisconsin. Thank you. El Dorado hops, Azaka hops. Don't know what those are, but they taste great. In this 7.7 New England IPA. I like New England IPAs. Do you guys enjoy them? I'm a pretty big fan.
Yes. Definitely a fan of the New England IPA. I know some people don't like them at all. But between New England and West Coast, right? It's usually one or the other. But yeah, I like them both.
So that's what I'm drinking. What about you boys?
Nice. I just want to shout out Mark, bartender last night, who kept the mango spicy margaritas coming. Ooh. A little bit too much, because I have a headache that is so on fire after my wife's Christmas party last night. So shouts to my man Mark. No brewery, or just call it, Mark's side of the bar. He hooked it up last night. So spicy margaritas and Tylenol and coffee.
Nice. That's a hell of a drink for like a mass gathering.
Dude, trust me, I know. He was really an overachiever. I don't know why he was doing that, but shouts to Mark's side of the bar.
Amazing.
Killing it.
Boys, I'm going to talk about a brewery that's not as familiar to Brewers Day, and that's Union Brothers Brewing, and that's up Zillionoples ways.
Hey, up
Zillionoples.
Out there to Zillionople.
Up in Zillies, yeah. So they have
I love when I hear things that I just haven't heard in a long time. Like, it's just you see Zillionople. Like, I haven't heard Zillionople in a very long time. That just makes me smile.
Up Zillionoples. And they have a series called Short Stack, kind of based naturally off of pancakes. But it's a sour series, which makes your wires in your brain cross a little bit and not really understand. But it works. And I had the Short Stack pumpkin pie, which is really, really well done. Because again, you think of a sour, you think of pumpkin, you're like, I don't know. I even went into it a little cautious, and I'm like, I love both of these things. I don't know if I love them together. but they did it very, very, very well. You kind of have it starts that kind of tangy sourness, and then it's kind of nice rounded out with some pumpkin, some cinnamon, some vanilla. Very, very smooth. Very, very smooth. My wife had the apple pie version, also very, very good. So, shouts to Union Brothers and shouts to the Short Stack series. And it's pie season. Dee, it's your time of year. Pie season. Pumpkin pie, apple pie. And we had them both in a glass, and they're
Hey,
delicious.
that sounds amazing.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Well, that's what we're sipping on. Boys, cheers.
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 Happy pie season.
Dude, happy pie season. That's right. All right, let's get into the menu. It's sports brunch. Let's go. College football playoff. It was announced, and we got all our teams ready to go. What do you guys think? Your thoughts? Are you happy about this? How do you feel? How are you feeling as we're like a week away, or when you listen to this, a few days away from this thing starting?
I think we're going to get it like this one or two more times. And then there's going to be some serious changes. There may be some changes as soon as next year. Um, Specifically, the one that I think most people are rightfully so complaining about is the conference championships and the buys that they receive, the 1 through 4. Frankly, when you see, I think Arizona State and Boise State deserve to be in this dance, but not with a bye and not at a 3 and 4 seed. So that's going to change very quickly. And then we all know that you guys hear the same things in the chatter that we all hear. It's going to be 14. We're going to get to 14. And so I think this is nice. It's cute. We're figuring things out on the fly. I think Oregon got screwed. They might have the hardest path and they're supposed to have the easiest because of these, again, automatic buys for these conference champs. And let's buckle up. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be fun. Hopefully there's a little bit of, just a little bit of chaos, right? That's what college football wants. Chalk the whole way would make this thing seem like stupid. Like we wasted our time. We played extra games for fun, and it ended up being pretty chalky in the end. So let's just you want the best teams in the end, but it's like March Madness. You want a little fun. You want a little shake up along the way. So that's all I can hope for at this point.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah. I like it. Put Arizona State, give them a bye. Like, fuck these other schools, dude. I love this. I absolutely think this is the way that it's supposed to go. Nothing. The reason that I have loved college football more than any other sport my entire life is in part because it lacks sanity. Like, why does Appalachian State beat Michigan? Because it's a sport that doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense. You've got 100 kids that are 18 to 22 on a football team, and you're trying to get them all to do the same thing the right way. Like, that's not easy to do. So college football has never made any sense. They all play in different leagues that are managed in different ways, that have different like rules about how they play each other. And then they get to now this thing where we're all supposed to agree on, like, no, it's never, this is the way it's supposed to be. Okay. And I love that random teams have buys. I think it's fantastic. I do think, like Dan said, it's going to change because I think namely the SEC and the Big Ten are going to put up such a fit because they want more like auto qualifying teams. Which is going to actually be probably the thing that makes people roll their eyes the most at it. I don't think people are rolling their eyes as hard at Arizona State as they will be when like a 9-3 Minnesota gets in because the Big Ten just always gets 4 teams. That's going to be the thing that's like, really, really, like, they got in over some, like, that's the thing that's going to break people. But yeah, man, I love it. I'm ready to go. I will say this time of year is one of like my least favorite in the sports calendar because college football, you have like a million games every week and then it drops off a cliff. And then you get like one a day. And pro football is moving along, but like half the teams in pro football, are just trash at this point. And so a lot of the games don't matter. And so we just have like a few games that matter moving forward, and then football season's over. Like I don't like that gives me a very sad feeling inside.
Hmm.
But I am going to enjoy the hell out of these games played on college campuses. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And you got like four of them in a 24-hour span, which is going to be cool. And then we get back to like neutral site football, which is just not fun for me. So I'm really looking forward to the first weekend of it. I think my interest in it is probably going to wane beyond that point. But yeah, I love it. I want chaos. I want schools that think highly of themselves to be a little jammed up. You know what I'm saying? I want them to be I want Penn State to be a little jammed up. That Arizona State's got that's what I want.
Shouts to the committee for not putting Alabama in because
Yes.
they could have.
Yes.
And honestly, the reason I like the committee is because it's just dudes in a room just being like, you know what? I like this better. And I don't know who had beef with Alabama because we could have had Alabama Penn State in the first round of this thing, which ratings bonanza.
Yeah.
Like that's insane. Like entertainment value and eyeballs, it's just Penn State, Alabama, and you got that. But they didn't do it. So I'm like, hey, maybe this was just like, hey, we're not gonna do this the first year, but we're definitely gonna do this for the next 10. But we'll give them a little something the first year. But I'm excited for this. I don't want to say I'm not excited. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna watch, I'm gonna do anything, whatever. But like I would just rather some of these just be bowl games. Cause like, it'd be cool if it was just like Notre Dame and Indiana in a bowl game, not acting like either of these teams have a chance to win a national title. Cause I don't think they should. Same thing with Penn State. I don't know why are we acting like Penn State should win national, is gonna have a chance to win national title. Like it's just all these teams. It's like, it's cool, but it's like, I don't want to have to hear conversation about could they win it? Like, no, like it just seems very clear that this year it's just two teams. And that's my problem with any of these like expansions of like the BCS format or whatever. It's just been like there are some years where it's just like, okay, I'm clear that it's Oregon and Georgia. Those should be the two teams play for the national title and then bowl games. Other years, maybe you got four teams that you're like, I don't know. Then you do this. Or six teams, you're like, we do this. But this is just too many teams. And I thought I would change throughout the year, but like, no, I feel the same way. Like we're talking about 2 lost teams and 3 lost teams. And I'm like, that's not college football to me. Like the best thing about college football, like what Chris was saying to me is like, I love that you're expecting these kids between 18 and 22 years old, well, sometimes like 26 years old or however long if they transfer a bunch of times and stuff like that. But like you're expecting them to be on their game for however many weeks in a row. Like Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois the second week of the season. They beat everybody else by like 40. Like it makes no sense, but that's college football. That's why I love college football, right? But it's like, I don't know. It just arguing about 2 lost teams annoys the hell out of me. Like I'm just like, once you lose 2 games or especially 3 games in college football, you should no longer be in the conversation. Like there should no longer be a conversation about you. So like, I'm excited, but like I just look at some of these games and I just wish it was a one-off. It's like Ohio State, Tennessee, it just sounds like fun to me. Like I don't need you to go to the next round and then play again. I just would like be like, oh, sweet. That was a fun Fiesta Bowl. We're done here. Cool. Like I don't know. And then the games being at home is not cool to me because it could be snowing in Columbus. It could be snowing in Notre Dame. It could be snowing at Penn State. And then the games are going to suck. And I don't want that. I want these games to be in neutral sites I want them in neutral sites in warm weather places, or I don't know. You could have it closer, put it in a dome somewhere. I just want these games to be like, I want the games to be not decided by snow, rain, sleet, and trash. It's the reason why we don't play college football. There's the reason why bowl games are always somewhere else, And the reason why that game in New York at the Yankee Stadium always blows. Because we shouldn't play bowl games. We shouldn't play bowl games there. So it's stupid. Every bowl game should be in a dome or in warm weather.
See,
Like,
Didi's assault on Pitt football continues because now he's coming after all the bowl games that we play in. So
Yeah,
can you just
right.
the Fenway Bowl, the Pinstripe Bowl? We're playing a bowl game in Detroit this year, Didi,
Yes.
and
dome, dome.
But Dome,
so
yeah.
that's how they have like at the end of the year, each conference they pick the bowl teams based on like what tier you're in. I
Yeah.
want for a sports brunch Didi to put his bowl tiers like the
Ooh,
Detroit bowl game is a tier 1 bowl game for Didi because it's in a
yeah.
dome.
Because it's a dome.
It's called the Game Above Bowl. And Didi's like Game Above Bowl, Rose Bowl, Fiesta
Yeah.
Bowl, like all tier 1.
All
All
tier
tier
one bowl games. Yeah.
Dude, listen, I'm telling you, like once you get to any of the games that are at baseball stadiums, no, like,
1.
mm-mm. That's like the word, like those games should be played like whatever, because they had games on yesterday. Like those games should be played on December 14th, 15th, like whatever, right after no one cares. Like warmer the weather, better the
Mhm.
dome. Let's get it going. That's
Yeah.
what we should do.
And it's interesting that like the home field advantage is obviously playing a factor in like the spreads. And you would think the first round matchups should be the most competitive, right? But like Ohio, the smallest spread is 7 points right now. Ohio State's favored by a touchdown over Tennessee because it's at home. If it would be different, if it was neutral, you're probably talking 4, something more like 4 points. And it seems like closer, but like 11, 8.5, 7.5. These are the spreads in these first round matchups, which are supposed to be competitive. And they're like, you know what? We don't have enough teams. Let's talk about 14. Are there 14 schools that can actually win this thing? Absolutely not. Like when we talk about expanding March Madness in that tournament, they're not adding schools 70, 71, 72. They're not like adding 16th seed, 17th seed, 18th seed. They're trying to add these other schools that had good seasons, and then you'd match up against like these mid majors. This is literally like what's more at the bottom of the barrel. Let's go 13, 14, 15, 16. Like those schools, those are going to be 3-loss schools. There's going to be 3-loss schools that are competing for the national championship in 2 years. But it'll be interesting again, because if this all falls into chalk, it's going to be really, really lame. So hopefully there is a little bit of chaos. But also, don't forget, when you're scrambling around on December 21st, half the first round matchups are on TNT. So not exactly a place you're used to searching for college football in the biggest games of the year. TNT hosting some of these games. So just remember when you're looking at the guide on December 21st.
Well, Alabama was one of the first two out. Who was the other
Mhm.
team that was left out in the mix? Like if
Yeah,
we're
who was
talking
the other one?
14,
Yeah.
Alabama was
Was it
probably
Miami?
13.
It was Miami, right?
Yeah, yikes.
I think it was Alabama and Miami. That's what I'm saying. That all these teams, like we're
Yes.
arguing about teams that had all of the chances in the world to get in this thing. And
Right.
then it's like there's arguments about those teams. It's like, dude, you lost. Like Alabama lost to Vanderbilt, right?
Yeah.
Don't lose to Vanderbilt.
Yeah. Right.
Like like college football. Like, the reason this just bothers me in a way that like the 4 team didn't, and even if they did 6 or 8, it wouldn't bother me. But this 12 team is just it's just ridiculous that we're talking about teams like what was it? Georgia beat a bad Georgia Tech team, and then the announcers were just like, and they clinched their spot in the playoff, and I'm like, if they lost to Texas 3 losses, they would still be in this thing. What are we doing? That's the reason why I don't care about the buys. I'm like, give the buys to all the to all the schools that have shitty records. Give that to them. Like, I'm cool with it. Like, Boise State only lost to Oregon, like, and everyone's like, oh, they shouldn't have a bye. I'm like, no, give them the bye. They did what they're supposed to do. Like you can hate on the Big 12 all you want, but like, hey, Arizona State did what they're supposed to do. Like, give them the bye. But all these other schools, like, get out of here. I don't want to talk. I just don't want to talk to these schools who are like, all right, yeah, you lost to Texas, you lost to Georgia, you lost to this. Like, yeah, you're supposed to win one of those games. Like,
Right.
you can't lose them all.
If you lost to them once, what makes you think that you're going to beat them the second time? Because you're going to probably have to go through one of those schools to get to advance anywhere. Oregon, Georgia, and then Texas is probably the only other one that has a chance, but they can't get by Georgia. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
I kind of like Didi's idea of like, maybe each season we determine the field based on how many teams have 2 losses or fewer. Like if you're undefeated, 1 loss
Ooh.
or 2 loss, those those could be the teams that make up the bracket. And maybe some years it's like there's 7 teams. Maybe some years there's 10. And then here's an idea that I've seen bandied about. What if then you turn the other bowls into a football NIT? Would you guys be interested in an NIT for all the teams or for some of the teams that don't make the college football playoff?
No, send these kids home. Let these kids in the season. Jesus Christ. That's another thing about this. It's like, good
Play
God,
22 games, kid. Let's go.
Yeah, it's just like, let these kids like have fun in Orlando for the weekend, for the week, and just like then just go home, get their Xboxes and go home.
Yeah.
Like, just let these kids have fun. Like,
when I heard the NIT idea, I was like, that's just going to be like the opt-out tournament. Nobody is going to play in that thing. Everybody, none of the kids
that's
are.
exactly it. Right. Right.
But
Yeah.
I would just like to say one thing. Since we brought up Vanderbilt, I wanna put this out there.
okay.
Sticker over here.
Diego Pavia, Vanderbilt quarterback. He's got a strong chance over here in the Gates household to potentially be bruncher of the year for our sports.
Whoa.
Brunch.
Ooh.
Just saying. If you guys don't know a lot about him, listeners, if you don't know a lot about him, I want you to look this kid up.
I got a Vandy thing right over here.
He, as Dan goes into his sports information database, this is a kid. There we go. Okay, so Dan's on board. Go Doors. Go Doors.
I'm in. Go. Yeah. I got a sign that says that too.
I've never seen a football player more willing to just say, okay, I might die on this play. Like this kid, I love him. I love him. And I know I said I wasn't going to give us tangents. We're talking about Vanderbilt. They are not in the college football playoff, but I had to put
we did.
I can't help it, guys. I can't help it.
Oh my.
It's in my DNA.
Well, boys, who do you think's winning this thing?
I have Oregon.
Yeah, I think Oregon will want to win it more, and I don't. Yeah, I just don't, dude. I don't know. Like, I want to say Georgia, but like they got quarterback issues already.
Yeah, they're not as good.
Right. That's the big problem. But like I want to pick Oregon, but I think they have the toughest road. They're going to play likely Ohio State and then Texas.
Yeah.
And then Georgia.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It is.
So that's why I don't know if I could pick them. So then I default to Georgia because their path is much easier. Much easier, but their quarterback issue, I don't know how that's going to play out. So my heart wants Oregon, but my brain's picking Georgia just because of the path to get there.
I tell you how annoyed I am that Penn State gets SMU followed by probably Boise State in their first 2 games. Like, not only do they schedule the biggest joke of a schedule every single year, they like leave the state of Pennsylvania 3 times a season, and now they get to play the 2 probably lowest ranked teams in the college football. That makes me so mad.
Boy, that game at Boise State, though, that crowd is going to be so fired up. That's the only thing we can hope for is Penn State traveling across the country to a Boise State home crowd, which is going to be like insane. It's going to be absolutely insane there, but
dude, coaches are in this playoff coaching for their jobs too, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people are saying if Ryan Day doesn't win at least 2, he's fired. I've heard people saying like James Franklin, if he lays an egg, like he already can't beat anybody during the regular season, he might be in trouble. So that's kind of an interesting path here too.
Yeah, I like it. Spicy.
Dude, people talking about James Franklin leaving. I don't understand people. Like, listen, I understand that Penn State can't win a big game, and they will get to they'll beat let's say they beat Boise State, okay?
Yeah.
Then we're gonna be talking about how Penn State
Yeah.
could possibly do it, and they're gonna be another big game, and they're gonna lose it, right? They're gonna go lose to Georgia or lose to whomever, and that's what's gonna happen, right?
Mhm.
That dude's done nothing but win since he's been there. Like, what do people? I don't get what people want. Like, I just don't understand. Like, you want to have something fun to cheer about. Like it's the same thing with like I felt like when it's like now like when Mike Tomlin does something for the Steelers, it's like oh yeah, it's like he hasn't had any losing seasons. It's now like a punchline because like playoff record, whatever. Just like guys, go hire the next hot name. Go get Matt Eberflus. Have fun.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
go have fun. Like I really wish
Yeah.
I kind of wish a subplot in the NFL, like one of my like little feeling. I want the Steelers to win the Super Bowl, and for Mike Tomlin to just go, guys, hey guys, go hire the next hot name. I'm out of here, and then just like the Steelers just go 3-13, and then everybody just see how happy everybody is. I'm like it's like you have something to cheer about, you have something to get mad about, you have something to argue about, like every single year.
Mhm.
Like I'm a Browns fan. I have nothing to be happy about or mad about or cheer about or anything. I have no feelings. Like, it's just great. Like, West Virginia just hired friggin' Rich Rod, which has people excited. But as of right now, I have no feelings about West Virginia football. None.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. Let's talk. That's
get
on the
right
menu.
into it.
Let's go.
No,
Go
let's
right
get
into
into
it.
Rich Rod's back. Which is exciting, but I don't know what Rich Rod in 2024 is. He was new and exciting in 2002, but I don't know if he is in 2024. And I didn't watch any Jacksonville State football. Chris, maybe you have.
Come on, Didi. What are you doing on Wednesday night? Come on.
like, or Tuesday. I don't know. Like, when does Jacksonville State play? I know nothing about Jacksonville State football. I know nothing about Rich Rodriguez. People are excited, but I'm like, I have no feels. I don't know. Like, I hope it works. But he's back and people are excited. And okay. I'm happy Neil Brown's gone. That's it.
Sure.
But he's back.
I know that you've always been very outspoken about West Virginia needing their head coach to be an asshole. So
Yes.
You got that. You got that
Yes.
back.
Yes.
I thought that and I get it because Pat McAfee went there and he has a show on ESPN. I thought like the day-long pep rally for West Virginia on ESPN was kind of bizarre. Like, it was kind of weird. It was also kind of weird thinking about like y'all are throwing a pep rally with Pat McAfee for West Virginia hiring Rich Rodriguez when like the last game those two people played, we all know what the score was, but then Rich Rod just left. And Pat McAfee had so many death threats that he had to like leave the state for a while. And now we're throwing a pep. It was just very like, it was a very weird thing for me to watch, to be honest with you. I don't know if he's going to do well or not, but like what my mind keeps going back to, because this has happened at Pitt before. We had Johnny Majors, that was in the 70s, obviously, but he won a national championship. Went on to coach in the SEC for a while. We brought him back in the 90s, and it was a absolute train wreck. And actually, when you go and look at like these like coaching rehires that happen, like I just don't know that one of them has ever worked out super well. You know what I mean? Like Mac Brown at UNC was just one that happened, and like he recruited well, but like they underachieved like basically every year. And I feel like anytime this happens, like you can reach a certain level of success, but like at the end of the day, like that coach that was good when he was there at that time, Didi, you say this all the time and place, right? Like Rich Rodriguez dominated with West Virginia in the early 2000s, in the Big East, in the BCS, before transfer portal, before NIL, before all this. And so like, then just like, and then it happens for every coach in these situations. Then you bring them back into like 20 years later, a completely different era of college football. Your team is in a different conference now. Like, I just don't know that it ever works. And I'm totally open to like being wrong about that. Maybe there have been some wild successes that I don't know about, but like UCF just brought back Scott Frost. Like, we all saw what happened in Nebraska. Like, so we're just expecting he's going to recapture the exact same magic at UCF, which is in a different conference now. And it's going to be fine when like they're in Florida and their best players are just going to go to Florida State like the next season. I don't know. I just don't know that it's ever worked.
Yeah, and I don't see how it does here because of the point you made there, Chris. Big East football was way different than the current ACC football, and that's the type of player he has to recruit. And like, frankly, he succeeded at Jacksonville State, but like he went 27-10. This isn't like Dion where he goes and he just like ransacked everybody, right? When he got into coaching, like he had 2 4-loss seasons in Conference USA. So why do you think you're ready for the big leagues again? I mean, the guy's coaching career has been very, very strange. How all that success at West Virginia, then we know what happened at Michigan and Arizona. In between all that, he was the offensive coordinator at Ole Miss. Okay, decent job. Then he got fired from that job, and he was an analyst at Hawaii. An analyst at Hawaii.
Not mad
And
at
then he went.
lifestyle.
I mean, true.
Didi's favorite move.
True. And then he went to Louisiana Monroe, and then he eventually got to Jacksonville State. So it's like, I think it's too wishful thinking. I think West Virginia could have done better, honestly. Because like, what do those kids know? What do kids in school now, not our age, 18-year-olds and 17-year-olds, how much do they remember from Rich Rodriguez at West Virginia in 2005? They were barely even born.
That was like 17 years ago. Yeah.
So like that doesn't work for like the whole, oh yeah, this guy's was a legend here. You know what you know, but you weren't witnessing it. So I don't know. I just don't know if he's meant for the way college football is currently structured at a major program. I just don't know.
Yeah, the Pat McAfee thing is going to help him.
Oh yeah,
right now, I don't know if the first year goes bad, how much anybody will care about that, but that will help him as this offseason goes, because he's got that connection and it will just stay in the news. But yeah, it's weird because the thing about, you were talking about Big East football, the thing about West Virginia that made them good, and the reason why anytime they played in a BCS game, they ended up winning over a team that they were favored to lose, is because of just nobody ran what they were running. No one, like the spread offense and the way that Rich Rod did it was unbelievable. It was so innovative. He basically got ran out of Michigan because they were like, whoa, you're not running the I formation? What are you doing? We can't do that crazy stuff.
This don't work here.
It was just so mind blowing. And then everybody talking about Rich Rod left us. I was like, man, guys, like he got an offer at Michigan. Like, honestly, we're lucky he didn't leave to go to Alabama the year before, which that's an interesting, swinging door moment there, because he could have went to Alabama and then Nick Saban wouldn't have went there. Where would Nick Saban have went? I don't know, because he still would have not, left Miami because he hated coaching in the NFL. So I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited, but I'm cautious because I'm like, what is his innovation now? What makes them, what sets them apart? But yes, West Virginia now has an asshole of a coach, and people in the state I already see don't like him, and that's what we need. That's what we need. That's what we need. We need the fans to not be on board with the coach. Like, that's what we need. Now I just need the innovation. Whatever he's got up his sleeve, I hope he's got it. Like, let's go.
Be interesting, man. It'd be interesting. Right. I'm very much debating going down there for that game, because the last time I went to Morgantown for a brawl was 13-9, and this game is being played on 9/13, and so I feel like it's a calling. Pitt and West Virginia are playing September 13th. Like, I feel like I need to be there, but we'll see.
Good God. All right. Belichick, UNC.
I think this boils down to he's in his 70s. He was not really heavily considered for NFL jobs last year. And I think this is his way to get a job to prove that he can still do it to get back to the NFL. That's what I think this is.
Yeah, and I saw this report and I meant to verify it with a second source, not like that I'm a reporter, but anything on the internet is take it as trash until you see somebody else say it. The buyout in his contract, for him to get out of the contract, right? Not for him to be fired. His buyout is $10 million right now. June 1st of 2025, not 2026, 2025, the year we were about to turn the calendar to. June 1st, that buyout goes down to $1 million.
Yeah. I
Tell me he's not still interested in listening. He wants to break Don Shula's record no matter what he says. And Don Shula didn't have the nicest things to say about Bill Belichick. So he holds a grudge about it. He wants to do it. He doesn't care what, but if like no one's knocking, he knows that spending a year with Peyton and Eli Manning on TV didn't do enough damage control to win him back into the NFL. So sure, I'll go coach a bunch of kids. I won't have to go door to door recruiting. You damn sure know he's not doing that, right? I mean, his name should weigh enough, but he certainly isn't doing that portion of it.
He hates
And
people.
he hates people, right? He grew up when his dad was at North Carolina, so there's at least a connection there. Um, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to work with kids because he just doesn't. That's not He's not going to be able to change his personality that much. Where when he's coaching, he's the most competitive person on the planet. He might be seeming fun and nice on Pat McAfee and TV and whatever like that. When he's coaching, screw all that. Like it could be not so fun for a lot of people.
Yeah, I got nothing. I saw the contract terms too, and I was like, so the funniest thing would just be for like Jerry Jones to fire Mike McCarthy and then just like not hire a coach till June 2nd.
Right.
Because all I could think about was like, who has the balls to do this? To just be
Right.
like, we're not gonna hire a coach, and it'll be Jerry Jones is the guy who will be like, no, we'll swing this thing together
We'll wait.
in a few months. We'll wait.
Because like that's late in the NFL calendar.
That's way late.
That's very
it's
late.
super late. Because like, I mean,
Training camp
OTAs
starts in like a month.
yeah, like OTAs will have happened already.
Right.
At that point,
In May,
so
yeah.
or be happening at the same time.
Draft
If
long
that.
over.
So like, I get why June 1st is there. I
Yeah.
understand that, but I'm just like, who has the balls to do it? I'm just like, who's got it? Like the Raiders, possibly. Like who's
Yeah.
got the balls to like
Who's
just
the part
be like, you
owner?
know what? We're just gonna wait. We're just gonna wait because like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like I'm just like, there's only a couple owners who will have the guts to do this, and I'm like, yeah, they're one of them. I'm like Jacksonville, maybe too. Like what do you have to look for in Jacksonville? Like I don't know. Like
That's
they
my
don't care.
pick.
Yeah.
That's my pick, man. Like I think Trevor Lawrence he didn't all of a sudden become a bad quarterback. Like
No.
he is still a very good quarterback drowning in Jacksonville with a mismanaged football team. And
It's
like
sad.
obviously we know what Bill Belichick does when he has a generational talent at quarterback. Like I think it's Jacksonville. I think in 1 to 2 years Bill Belichick is the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I really do.
I mean, he's already down there. So just
I do have a prediction though. At some point, depending on how long this lasts, at some point, Pat Narduzzi is going to beat Bill Belichick in a football game, and then later in the season lose to a team who fired their coach, and we're going against an interim coach. I'm predicting it right now. He's going to beat the best coach to ever do it, and then lose to like an offensive coordinator who was thrust into a job.
Special teams coach.
Yeah,
that's special teams coach taking over for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
That's Pitt football, baby.
And well, from that to Marshall.
Oh,
University of Marshall, my mom's alma mater. I've been to Huntington a few times, and the Marshall team is decided that after their coach left to go to Southern Miss,
Yeah.
right?
yeah.
Go to Southern Miss. After a couple of good seasons at Marshall, he went there, and the team is like, yeah, we're opting out. Like we're all entering the transfer portal, and a lot of people are in uproar about this, and I'm just like, have you ever been to Huntington? Like, not exactly a vacation destination. So, yeah, like if the coach leaves, this was bound to happen at some point at one of these schools. Like, wasn't gonna happen at an ACC school, wasn't gonna happen at a Big 12 school, but it's gonna happen at these schools more often. And Marshall just like opened up the floodgates. Like this is gonna happen a lot, and I don't know why people are that surprised by it.
Dude, you just made me realize something that I hadn't thought about at all. Southern Miss is in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. It is just over an hour away from the Gulf of Mexico. So if you are trapped in Huntington, West Virginia, and you get an opportunity to follow your coach to a warmer climate and a day trip to beautiful beaches, come on. That makes total sense.
Like if you're a backup, right? Aren't you maybe like, oh, sure, guys, yeah, I'm joining you. But then you're like, no, because you're all going to leave and I'm going to start because I'm not starting at Southern Miss. That's for damn
Fair.
sure. I will stay here, start at Marshall, and then sell insurance after we're done. After we're done graduating college, and that'll be fine, and I'll have a great life, and it's fine. It's You're right. This was bound to happen. Bound to happen. It was going to happen at a school like Marshall, right? But they're all jumping in the pool, but like this could be really bad depending on how it goes. Now, obviously, the new coach or the coach can't take all of his kids with him to Southern Miss. He's got a full roster there. I'm sure there's some people in transfer portal as well.
Why not, though? Like, there are coaches at other programs who say, like, you don't have a scholarship here anymore.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He could.
He could. You're right.
There's no contracts.
Yeah. But I just, like, if Marshall gets so depleted, like, then what? Like, what do you do? Like that's where it's going to get, where it could get messy and nasty. I don't think it's going to get to that point. I'm sure, like, maybe like have more than like a brief conversation with the new coach before you decide you're going to leave. I don't know.
How would you like to be the new coach?
Tony Gibson. He's recruiting his own players.
By the way, Tony Gibson has made the rounds in our entire area, right? So he came from NC State, but he is from like Western Pennsylvania area. He coached at West Virginia for a while. He coached at Penn State for a while. I know he's like flirted with offers at Pitt occasionally. And dude, like there's never been, to my knowledge, at least in modern college football, a worse position to step into. Like, and I'm saying that like you could, stepping into the head coaching position at Kent State is hard, but there's players. I cannot imagine. That's like being hired as the CEO of a company that has no employees. Like, how do you do it?
The dust will settle because people want scholarships, people want to play football. It's just what I hear there is just a bunch of guys who just like weren't really thrilled with their experience in Huntington. They really liked the coach and the coach left. That's what it is to me. It's just like you weren't like you were there, and I guess maybe this is like a bigger college football problem is that like these kids are there to just play football. Like the college experience is like is just dead there, and whatever the disconnect there at Marshall was, it's shown. It's like they just didn't want to. They have no desire to be there. Like, well, I'm here to play football, so I'll go in the transfer portal and go play at, you could go to the transfer and play at West Virginia, or you could go and play at some school that's basically just like a, lateral move that some other school that's just like Marshall and Conference USA. Like, you just didn't like being there. And I think that's kind of the bummer part where it's just like, yeah, like this isn't the college experience. Like you're not getting any college experience. And it's like, which isn't new, but it's just kind of highlighted there where it's like, we don't like you. It's like, there's not an assistant that you like. Usually people rally around like an assistant that's going to get the chance to coach in the bowl game. These guys were like, nah, we're good. Have fun. They put some team from Louisiana or something in the bowl who's 5-7 against Army playing in some bowl game. And I'm just like, guys, like, I don't know. Marshall may have a bigger problem internally just because everyone being like, we're leaving. Then I don't know. I want to talk to one of the players, see what's
and like
happening there.
You got to think that an NIL has to be a factor in this, right?
Yeah.
Like, how much of that is that a play? Like, you want me to stay? Let's talk serious now. Now, Marshall isn't exactly floating in NIL money. But like push comes to shove, if I'm going to stay, you got to bring more to the table. You got to do more for me. And that's a huge factor in this, I'm sure. Just entering the transfer portal doesn't mean you're definitely going. You're open for business. And that means at home or elsewhere. So Boy, interesting story to stick around and keep paying attention to.
How does Mama Dudley feel about this? Does she have any boots on the ground? Does she have any sources? Like, how
Yeah,
does she
come on.
feel? How does she feel about people not wanting to be in Huntington?
Dude, I don't know. She's probably gonna be mad at me for being like, "Have you been to Huntington?" So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I did. I have to talk to her. She'll have to. Her alumni group chat is probably or Facebook group is probably going crazy right now. Wonder what's
Probably.
wrong with these kids. So, boys. Well, sports brunch. This was fun.
This is great. Love
This
it.
was great. This
Love
was
it.
great. All right. Let's get into music. What are we listening to, boys?
I don't know. Somebody go before me. I have to figure out what I was listening to this week.
Nice.
All right, I got you. It's Ariana Grande season.
Oh, keep it.
Last Christmas, Ariana
Mm.
Grande. Throw it on the playlist.
Can't go wrong with that. Can't go wrong with that. I do have some holiday tunes as well, but one non-holiday tune from Beach Weather. They released a song called Seth Cohen. And listen, I don't know who Seth Cohen is.
Oh,
They first and last named him, but apparently, according to the song, it claims he's the king of self-loathing and the killer of romance. And sounds like a bit of a personal attack. So I don't know. It's kind of weird. They released an album in October and then they just threw this single out. So something must have happened. Seth Cohen pissed somebody off between when they finished the album and last week when this song came out. But it's from Beach Weather. It's really good.
so you've never watched the OC? Because that's
Oh no, is that who Seth Cohen is?
yeah, that's Seth Cohen.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, yeah. That,
Well, now
that is Seth
the
Cohen.
story is so much less fun now.
It's hilarious that you just gave this whole thing about Seth Cohen.
Wow.
I'm just like, this is great.
Because I even I was like, who is? I was like looking for some behind the scenes story from Beach Weather. Nothing
No,
at all. Cool.
But like,
Well,
I'm
now I
sure
don't like the song as much. Take it off.
Yeah. And that basically describes like the character on the show. What you
Now I
just
don't
said.
like it.
So
Now it's lazy writing, frankly.
I'll go now. I'm still or I'm continuing to reflect on the songs that I've listened to this past year in my Wrapped. Do you remember that 2 Days into College song by Amy Cardi? That girl from
Oh,
she's
yeah.
like Irish or Scottish or something like that.
Yeah.
And the dude from Duke like was singing it in on TikTok and he's continuing to do it in the NBA now. I forgot I listened to
Mm-hmm.
that song this year and it's awesome. It's like a
Yep.
really good song, and it strikes you right in the feels when you think about starting college. So, 2 days into college, I want to listen to that again.
Yep. And he's killing it in the NBA. What the fuck?
I know he's so good at basketball, and then his social media is so hard to watch.
It's like you like the Jared McCain. It's so funny because there's so many NBA player podcasts, and like they're all like 2003, like whatever. They're all in their 40s. They're all in their like late 30s, 40s, whatever. And just the way they talk about him is hysterical. Because they cannot stand it. They don't get it. They don't like it. They don't like just it's amazing listening to them just like stutter whenever talking about Jerry McCain because like you have to talk about him because he's more than likely going to win Rookie of the Year. Like if it keeps going, like he's so good and he pisses every old person off. And I'm like, I just gotta love him. Gotta love him. But he's like, guys, it takes 15 seconds to do a TikTok. Otherwise, I'm practicing. Like people act like I don't play basketball. I'm like, I'm in the gym and then I do a TikTok for 15 seconds. Oh God. All right. Who's up? Me?
You.
Yeah, me. So I was listening to what's the called the 10 spot on Sirius, and a song I hadn't heard in a long time came on. Fucking Problem by ASAP Rocky, 2 Chainz, and a bunch of other people. And I miss rap posse tracks so much. I want them back. I want them back. Like, why were all 10 of them on the same song? I don't know, but we need it back. And that song came on. I have not heard that song in a very long time. And I'm like, it's great. So, yeah.
Love that. And speaking of things we want to come back, CeeLo Green. CeeLo, where are you, brother? I know he's been featured on some music lately, but like, it was a hot minute that CeeLo Green had. And CeeLo Green, that's what Christmas means to me. Phenomenal. Phenomenal showcase of a phenomenal voice. and a phenomenal man. CeeLo Green, you're more than just the voice judge, my man. We need some more. We need a new solo album. Come on, come on.
Love it.
All right, my next one is really random, but this is the song my kids have requested most this year, and
Hit
it's
it.
not. It is not what you think, Didi. You're gonna absolutely hate this. Uh, the song my kids have asked me to play the most on Spotify is the "Here We Go" song. The Steelers. Here we go.
Oh my
Bum,
gosh.
Oh no.
ba-na-na-na.
Wow. I didn't know
Yeah.
it was on Spotify.
Oh, it's on
Oh
there. And I have
no.
listened to it more than I ever could have imagined. And now I'm going to subject you all to it. Um, we saw what happened last week. And you know what Didi mentioned earlier in the podcast that, it's not really legitimate when you see outcomes of games that are played in like hazardous weather. So that last time the Steelers and the Browns played, like it really didn't count. I mean, Didi pretty much just said it. So
It's true. True,
um,
did say that.
we're just
Yeah.
going to celebrate for a little bit longer here. Put it on the playlist this week. Love you, Didi.
Okay, what are the players in the version that comes up on
I was gonna
Spotify?
say, do they still record? Does he still do a new one every year?
Still does a new one every year. Pretty
Oh,
much
okay.
all the players are still on the team from last year. There's like Patrick Peterson in there who isn't on the team, but like they didn't lose too many guys. And funny enough, in last year's song, they did not mention a quarterback, so it still applies this year. There was no quarterback
Wow.
mentioned.
Smart, safe play.
Oh,
The
man.
He's just like
2025,
get
he
3 points off of Boswell's toe.
that's what he
Here we
says.
go.
Yeah, that's
that
what he
one,
says.
that was just steady.
Yeah. Yeah, the dude doesn't like he waits till like near the end of the season to release the new song. So there's not one for 2025, but there is
Oh
one.
yeah, it's more of like a playoff going into the playoffs. It seems like that's. I mean, in the past couple of years, that wasn't really also a concern. So
Right, right. But he wasn't saying like, "Hey, Mitch is going to throw touchdowns." None of that.
Oh God. I just hope when he updates it for the playoffs, that he puts like Ciara in it. That's
oh
all.
yeah,
Just
let's
somehow
go.
throw Ciara in there somewhere.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you're
reference one
listening.
of her songs or something. Yeah.
Here we go, guy. But reference Ciara, reference goodies, reference
Right.
something.
Right.
Like one
Right.
two step or something. I don't know. Just give me something.
Yeah.
Like,
I
yeah.
like it.
Oh
Give me,
man.
yeah.
Here
Give
we
me
go, featuring Ciara.
There's no there's there's no way he knows about any of that. I guarantee.
Oh my God. Can we get dude, if we could get like a Ciara like style, here we go. Just like either upbeat or like super sexy. Here we go version.
Yeah. You telling me you wouldn't get behind that? Let's
I
go.
mean,
They're gonna change Renegade to whatever that is gonna be. It's gonna be
Yeah.
amazing.
Absolutely.
goodies would be so much better played at the start of a intense moment. All of a
Could
sudden,
you
you just heard,
imagine?
and everybody loses their shit.
Yeah.
So damn hot, but so
Hello?
young. You're like, whoa, easy, PD Pablo, easy. All right, last song. Goodies, fuck it, goodies. Goodies. I had something else, but who cares? Goodies, Ciara.
Good audible. Good call at the line of scrimmage
Featuring
there.
PD Pablo.
Great audible. Love that. And my last one's another holiday tune, if you will. Holiday Road. Everybody's kind of familiar with that song, specifically because it's kind of a title track to one of the greatest Christmas movies of all time, Christmas Vacation, Holiday Road. Kesha released a version of Holiday Road this year, and she kind of modernized it, kind of turned it into a dance track. It's kind of DJ style, and maybe you can just throw it on at the club. So Holiday Road, Kesha.
I am nervous about listening to this one.
It's good. It's good.
Okay. All right. I'll believe you.
Uh,
All right.
my last one, guys. Per to no one's surprise, there's a lot of songs on my Wrapped that are old. So I'm gonna give you the oldest song on my Spotify Wrapped this year from 1996. It's a song called "Hey" by the Suicide Machines. That is the oldest song that I have listened to repeatedly. in 2024.
Nice.
Wow.
I can't believe you're just making my
deep-
nieces listen to "Here We Go" on repeat. I just
Maybe
Here we go.
well, that's what we're listening to. Good Lord.
they're gonna like it, man. It's got a
Check out
good
the
beat for
playlist.
kids.
Check out the playlist on Spotify. Tell Siri to Alexa to play the sounds of Brunch. All right, boys. Final thoughts on this packed sports brunch.
I think we should put Marshall in the college football playoff.
Mm.
Watch those players flock back to Huntington.
Wow. Wow. Well, I'm just ready for the Ciara version of Here We like if we don't get that, this podcast, this starts the wave, the momentum. Start hitting her up at Ciara.
Is she on
Tell her.
Patreon? We could just request it.
We could just talk to her. Yeah.
Or
Okay.
what's that thing called? Cameo? Whatever it is.
Cameo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if somebody sees Ciara at Permanis this weekend or something, like just
Always every time I see a Cybertruck, I look to see if it's hers.
see. There you go. And
Yeah.
final thought: Texas is winning the college football playoff.
Ooh.
I've decided.
Hook 'em.
Texas. They got 2 quarterbacks. Someone's getting hurt in this thing. 2. Texas winning it all. And that's
Like
the
it.
brunch breakdown. We're out.